Good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. I'm not going to start actually talking about the topic that is the reason we came on the air today, but I am going to do that in just another second or so. Yes, we're on the air now. Good afternoon, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. I want to welcome everybody who has joined us this afternoon. Highway Runner is here in the chat. Highway Runner is somewhere here in the United States, driving a truck, as she always does. She's a great lady, a dear, very dear friend of Carol and mine. We appreciate her being here. Hurricane Heather is here. Welcome, Heather. God bless you. Thank you all for being here. Juanito from El Centro, California is here. Welcome, brother. Appreciate you too. I'm going to wait to start talking about what we're doing here for another few minutes. Highway Runner's in Georgia now. That's awesome. Georgia Rashad from the great state of California. Isn't that a mouthful? Dustin Caglig is here. Thank you. Charlie is here. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Santra Scrippen is here from New Mexico. Betty's Bar is here. Thank you. Hello, hello. Okay, we're starting to get some people in here. I want to start talking about what we're doing here. Earlier this morning, probably within the last hour, Joseph Biden has dropped out of the 2024 presidential race. He has now endorsed Kamala Harris for president. He announced he will stand down from the 2024 election. While he said it was his intention to seek re-election, he says it is in his best interest of his party and the country for him to stand down and his focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term, according to his statement. His statement was shared on X. Biden went on to endorse Vice President Kamala Harris for president. He said, quote, "Today I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year." He says, "Democrats, it's time to come up and heat up and beat up Trump." Quote, "Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump." Now, I'll talk about this statement in just a few minutes. Charlie says Dumb and Dumber. I totally agree with that. The president is still currently self-isolating at his beach house in Delaware after he contracted COVID-19. I think it was either in California or over in Nevada. He was doing a re-election rally and he contracted COVID and canceled all further appearances and immediately got on a plane and headed back to Delaware, where he's self-isolating for COVID. His Sunday afternoon announcement comes after 37 Democrat and independent lawmakers publicly called for the president to pass the torch to a different candidate. Several influential Democrats, including Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer, reportedly also called on Biden to drop out in private. Now, yesterday there was a meeting here in North Carolina that featured Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi again called for Biden to drop out of the race. The calls within his own party for him to drop out followed a disastrous debate performance against President Trump last month. This is going to continue. Biden is still not going to take or leave the presidency at this point in time. He said he's going to stay in office until his term expires on January 20th. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris ran a call Friday night with 300 major donors to the Democrat Party. And many left very frustrated, feeling that the meeting was mismanaged. Kamala Harris, in my opinion, okay, this is just plain my opinion. In my opinion, Kamala Harris has not done one good thing since she has taken over as the Vice President of the United States. When she was asked by Biden to be the border czar, she never even went to the border. She has hardly even spoken about the border at all. She's not done squat. She's hardly spoken about anything. She stayed out of the way in the background. The only information I have on Kamala Harris is she's a lousy politician. She was a secretary, or no, she wasn't secretary. She was the Attorney General of California when Biden nominated her for the vice presidency. She came in the vice presidency with very little political experience. She has a family, including relationship with, not a relationship with, but she's related to Newsom of California. Now, she has no knowledge of anything involving the presidency. She hasn't done squat, okay? If she has any knowledge at all, it's because she has some advisors that have been telling her what to say and what to do. Not really doing anything. Literally, not doing anything. George Rashad says it just went from bad to worse. Democrats can't win, honestly. You're absolutely right. Now, that comes after there's been more threats against President Trump. Dominic Vegas says, why on the air? Well, if you looked at the title of our program this afternoon, it's Biden withdrew from the presidency. Well, not the presidency, but he has withdrawn from running for re-election. That's why we came on the air. I wanted to make it very clear where we're at. I completely support President Trump. Okay? I completely and honestly support President Trump. I always have and always will. Now, it's quite frightening to know that now Kamala is going to be running for president. Now, the only way she could win, okay, this is again my opinion. The only way she could win is because, one, she's a woman of color. Two, is because she's a woman, okay? B. Indy says she can't speak an intelligent sentence. I can't listen to her, she says. She actually thinks she's intelligent. She's not. I totally agree with that sentiment. She can't think straight. She can't talk a sentence any more than Biden can. She's worthless, okay? I'm sorry to say she's worthless. She never should have been put in as vice president. She doesn't do anything. The only thing she's done is led some votes when there has been a tie vote in the Senate, and she's shown up in the Senate and decided she's going to pass a tiebreaker. That's the really only thing she's done. She's nothing, okay? Now, Grace, New York City says, we all like yellow buses. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's true. No one can listen to her, okay? She shouldn't even be doing what she's doing, okay? She shouldn't really be doing what she's doing. Now, with that said, there's been talk of Barack Obama putting his wife in place as a running mate or running against Kamala. Now, Mrs. Biden says, Michelle Obama says that she does not want to run for president. However, what could happen? I told you what I thought would happen several weeks ago. There's actually two ideas here. Number one, Biden drops out completely. Kamala Harris comes in as president. She appoints or asks Obama to come in as a vice president. So Obama comes in as a vice president, and then she drops out and brings Obama in as president. Or Michelle Obama runs for president, and she decides to drop out after she gets elected, and after the inauguration in January, and then she drops out and puts Obama in. The other thing is another situation here. Kamala gets in. She brings in Hillary as the vice president. Hillary has always wanted to be in the presidency. Hillary has always either wanted to be in the presidency or vice president so she could go into the presidency as soon as the president got sick or whatever. If Kamala got in and brought in Hillary as the vice president, then Kamala, once she is inaugurated, drops out and Hillary becomes president. That's the only way that could happen. And then Hillary would have to have a vice president. Then she would bring in Gavin Newsom from California. That's the other situation. Two different scenarios. One is, again, Kamala is president. She brings in Hillary as a vice president, and then she drops out after she's inaugurated. Hillary becomes president and appoints Gavin Newsom as a vice president without even being elected to the position. Okay? The other issue is the Obama issue, where Kamala becomes president and asks Obama to be president, or Obama's wife runs for president and Obama as her vice president. She drops out and Obama becomes president again. So there's two different scenarios here. Do I think either scenario would work? No. Hillary would sink the candidacy. Hillary would also sink the presidency. Hillary does not belong in the White House ever again. She was a lousy first lady. Her husband was a lousy president. It's a wild card chance. Okay? I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. MAGA says Trump 2024. Please hold off on all capital letters, number one, and only use 3 to 4 emojis. I like the U.S. flag, I do. But please only put one capital letter at the beginning of a sentence and not all capitals straight across. And only 3 to 4 flags or emojis. Please don't do that, okay? SP says Newsom Shapiro would destroy Trump. Yes, possibly. But Newsom is bad news. Newsom is bad news. He's already literally buried California. Newsom is a very bad governor. He's nearly buried California. Newsom could not destroy Trump at all. No one would vote Newsom at all, period. He's bad news. Okay? He's bad news. Yes, things could happen. Things could happen. I hope not. Does anybody else have any comments about what we're saying here? Thanks, NCWQ. We appreciate that. Trump 24 3 flags. We appreciate it. Karin Small says Newsom. Yes, absolutely. I started that, then President Trump caught on for some. I don't know how that went, but I started Newsom because I can't stand the man, and now it's gone crazy. I'm glad. Grace, New York City says, pray up before November. I agree. Everybody needs to very seriously think about emergency preparedness. You need to have a plan for any kind of emergency that could hit your area. You need that, okay? If you don't know what kind of emergencies that could hit your area, go over to the police chief or the fire chief, or if your city actually does have an emergency manager that's not the police or fire chief, go to there and ask them what emergencies could possibly happen in your particular area. Then write a plan on how you're going to approach each and every emergency, how you and your family are going to get through those emergencies, and how you're going to face it, and how you're going to come out the other side. You need that. Second, you need to have an emergency preparedness kit. You cannot do anything without an emergency preparedness kit and a plan. I'm telling you right now, you can't do it. You need to have a preparedness kit. You need to have some kind of food. You need to have a set of clothes that you're going to take with you. At least 2 changes of clothes, and make sure you have sturdy changes of shoes. sturdy changes of shoes and or boots. Okay? You need to have a medical kit, some kind of medical kit, and not just bandages, not just simple finger bandages. That won't do. Okay? Now, I have put out in the past year and a half, I have put out a video on things that go into a survival kit and emergency preparedness kit, including medical items. You can go back through our programs and look where it says emergency preparedness, and you're going to find those, and you go through those and watch them until you come to one that has a preparedness kit with it. And there are videos with preparedness kits. Okay? You need to know that. We do have videos up with preparedness kits only, but you need to have that. But you can't go very far without water. You also have to have a supply of water. Now, I've been talking about water for a very long time. You can't go more than 3 days without water, you're going to die. Your body will shut down. Your body will shut down. I promise you. You need to have a supply of water. My wife and I have bottled water here. And yes, I know that there is a cancer factor with bottled water. I'm very well aware of that. But we have bottled water here in case our water supply goes down. The reason why we already use bottled water is the tap water sucks. Okay? The tap water, one, doesn't taste good. The minerals that come out of it are very poor. And the other day, I was running a tub for a shower, and brown water came out of the tub faucet. So that was good enough for me. I will never drink tap water again here, ever. You need to have a supply kit. You need to have a plan. You need to have water. Okay? You need to have a supply kit, or at least a 72-hour kit for every member of your family or whoever's with you. Okay? You need to do that. I promise you, you need to do it. NCWQ is asking, could this cause a civil war? Possibly. Yes, it could possibly cause a civil war. If Kamala Harris started spouting other crap against President Trump or threatened President Trump in any way, shape, or form, there would be a civil war. I'm almost dead sure of it. Now, I'm not calling for a civil war. I want to make that very clear. I am not calling for a civil war. I'm not calling for any kind of violence. I want to make that clear. I will never do that. But what I will say is everybody needs to have some way of protecting yourselves, some way of making sure the home you are in is fortified. The home you're in is going to protect you, and then you need to protect it. You need to protect everything that you saved and everything that you have in your home to make you feel good, number one, and number two, to save your life. Okay? No matter what the hardship, no matter what the handicap. The real challenge is, as my buddy Don Patokas, who is here in the chat and one of my best friends, the real challenge is realizing that all of us can be a bright light of example, and do something. Do something. Only the very few that can do something will win. You need to do something. You need to do everything. Okay? You need to do everything. You need to get busy and get on the ball here. Okay? I keep talking about preparedness, and I will bet you that only maybe 10 or 15% of the people that watch this program even do something. And that's bad. The only reason I say that is back in 2014, FEMA issued a survey out, and only one question was there. FEMA issued a survey with one question asking how many emergency managers, and they addressed it only to emergency managers like myself, but they asked how many emergency managers had a 72-hour kit. They let some time go by, several months, and then they released the results of their survey. The results of the FEMA survey came back as only 25% of emergency managers had a 72-hour kit. And at that time, FEMA was asking everybody to have a 72-hour kit, especially emergency managers. Emergency managers were asked to put that information out to their citizens in their communities. If only 25% of emergency managers had a 72-hour kit, what does that say about the rest of us? I am asking everybody. Yes, I am an emergency manager, but I've been on the air now 5.5 years. 5.5 years. And we've been talking about 72-hour kits. We've been talking about emergency preparedness kits and emergency preparedness plans and water for a very long time now. You need to have that. You're not going to win. You're not going to get out and exist at any kind of place unless you have those things. You have to. My buddy Don Patoka again says here in the chat, disasters can be unpredictable and sudden, and logistics need to be flexible and adaptable. This means being able to respond quickly to changing situations and adjusting plans if needed. Adjusting plans as needed. You need to do that. Grace, New York City says, I have my to-go plan bag packed since last year. I appreciate that. I very much appreciate that. And I'm happy for you. You need to have a little bit more than a go bag though. Okay? Now, I understand, depending on people's ages, you can't carry a big bag. I understand that. But you need to have food, you need to have water, you need to have a change of clothes. You need to have at least one sturdy pair of shoes with you, including sneakers. Including sneakers. Not to forget sneakers, but including sneakers and one pair of heavy-duty shoes or boots. That will protect your feet. You need something to protect your feet. R. Pierce says, get used to intermediate fasting. Intermediate fasting won't do you much good. At some point, you're not going to have anything. And then you're going to be in trouble. NWC says, I'm hearing they may push Hillary Clinton. You're right, they might. And that would be a huge mistake. Hillary Clinton does not belong anywhere near the White House. Somebody just said I look like somebody else. Yes, I understand that. Okay? And my buddy Don Patoka also saying, if you're scared, maybe you should be. And I agree. Maybe you should be. If you do not have your crap squared away, you should be terrified. You should be terrified. If you're truly prepared, you'll be saying, thank you, Jesus, for the knowledge and the ability that you've given me to be prepared and to be able to handle the situations as they come. Please, guys, get prepared. Get prepared. R. Pierce says, I try to plan for at least a week in my bug out plan. Absolutely. But I would not just be planning for 1 week. Honestly, I would not be planning for just 1 week. You need to be planning for 2 weeks, 2 months, and even 2 years. Once you got 2 months, go for 6 months. Then once you got 6 months worth of preparation, including food and water, then work for a year. But you need that preparation. You need that preparation. Okay? I'm talking logistics. I'm talking strategy. My buddy Don Patoka is saying, when preparing, think of strategy and apply logistics. You need that. In order to face what's going to happen very shortly, you need that. I'm telling you, we've been talking about this for a very, very long time. And in your preparations, in all the things you're putting together, do not forget a set of scriptures. Don't forget your scriptures. Your scriptures will be one of your best items. When you're in bed at night, before you go to sleep, you'll be probably wanting to read the scriptures to find some solace and some kind of comfort. You need that. I promise you, you will need that. Linda Moses says, I've got all my photos and important papers ready to evaluate if another fire pops up. You need those papers in a sturdy plastic bag. And in some cases, like I have, I've got all my important paperwork in a safe. I've got it in a safe I could take and pack up and throw in the car and be gone. Grace NYC says, my dog has his own backpack. That's great. And that's perfect. Your dog should have its own backpack. I'm just saying. Each of my dogs also has a small pack that they can carry themselves. However, they can't carry all their food with them. They can't carry all their food with them. My wife and I have packed food for them. And we've got water for them. We have 6 months worth of water stored for them. Folks, it happened. Stuff is going to happen. I promise you. I promise you. Things are going to happen. Things are going to happen. You need to be prepared. Come what may, things are going to get very dangerous. Okay? Don Patoka says situations can be dangerous, daunting, and demanding, especially what if scenarios are not considered. If what if scenarios are not considered, you're going to be in a very dangerous set of circumstances. Ignoring prior proactive, practice proper preparation of the possible. Okay? You need to not ignore prior, proactive, practiced, proper preparation of the possible. Okay? Please do that. Please do that. Linda Moses says, I meant evacuate. I thought that's probably true. But you need to do that. Okay? Now, Carolyn Bird Barlow says big food storage. I'm glad to hear that. If you have not already noticed, there are store shelves that are bare. There are store shelves that are bare. We've been to Walmart recently. We've been to our local, what they call Food Line. Food Line here in North Carolina is like a Safeway. A Safeway, or the Food Line, was out of milk. Food Line here was without milk for 2 days. They said they didn't get their shipment. Okay? They were without milk. They were without eggs. Walmart had no milk. Walmart had no milk for 1 day. They had no eggs either. The eggs were gone. Okay? There was no sour cream. There was no yogurt. There was no cottage cheese. There was no nothing. Everything was gone. Now, whether they just had expired food that they threw away or what, they didn't have anything on the shelves. And for other things that were not on the shelves, all over the store. All over this Walmart store, there were bare shelves all over. Bare shelves over in the cereal aisle. Bare shelves over in the drink aisle with soft drinks and water. Yes, the soft drinks and water shelves were bare here and there. Other shelves over in the baking aisle, certain items were gone. It's going to happen again. I hadn't seen that kind of bare shelves since the 2019-2020 sea incident. Okay? But it's happening again. Watch what you're doing. Be prepared. Now, I'm not saying go to your stores and check and see what's going on, but you need to be prepared regardless of the shelves being bare. You need to prepare right now. You need to be prepared right now. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Okay? Think of those things. Think of those things. It's better to be prepared than not. You need to have water. You need to have medical stuff. Not just finger bandages. Okay? You need to have some sheets torn up to make triangular bandages with. You need several pair of good scissors to cut through bandages, cut through cloth. Okay? You need to understand what it takes to put a sterile bandage on a wound on somebody's body, whether it's on their head, their arm, their hand, wherever. You need to do that. You need to understand what it takes to stop a sucking wound. Okay? You need to know what a compression bandage is. You need to have compression bandages in your medical kit. All this kind of stuff. And then to top that up, I believe, according to what we've heard President Putin and Prime Minister Xi says, there is possibility of an attack on the shores of our own country. Yes, it could also happen in England. Putin has threatened England as well. Putin has run his fighter jets and the Bear bombers all over the coast of England. He's threatened the United States, Alaska and the coast of the United States, east and west coast. Folks, a nuclear weapon could happen. We now have Chinese ships down off the coast of East Coast and West Coast. We have Russian ships down in Cuba. There is a scenario that there would be a possible nuclear or biological chemical attack on the United States. What are we going to do? We just got terrorism coming into our country from the southern part of the border. Terrorists. And people from 149 countries coming into the United States. Most of those people, I'm going to say most of those people because only a select group of people went through the proper ports of entry to get into the U.S. The rest of them came in with gotaways. They came in as gotaways, meaning we don't know who they are, we don't know where they came from, but we knew they came into the United States. And I personally have seen video that we've gotten from the U.S. government showing these people coming across the border, headed north with weapons, military-style weapons. If you think I'm lying, go look for it yourself. The video's there. You need to make sure what's going on. Now, Juanito is saying, what's up with the food recalls? Yes, Juanito's right. There's also been multiple times where there's been food recalls, and the latest this past week. You need to understand what's going on. You need to keep your eyes open. You need to understand what's going on and keep your eyes open for what's going on in your neighborhood. What's going on with the food? What food recall is going on now? What do you need to be aware of? Why it might be happening? You need to keep your heads on a swivel. Okay? Don Patokas here in the chat saying plans should include staying in place, sheltering in place, bugging out to a predetermined location, and if you do that, you need to have 3 bug out routes in case one's got a barricade or a blockade where you can't get through. The police or the National Guard has sealed off the highway or the roadway where you can't get through. You need to use surface streets, stay off highways. 3 predetermined routes to get where you want to go, and 3 places you might go to, in case one of those places is all full up. Think about it. Think about it. Think about emergency evacuation as a refugee, because that's exactly what we're going to be, is refugees. You need to have all this written in a predetermined plan, an emergency preparedness plan with predetermined limits on when to activate that plan and how to activate it. Think about it. Think about what you're going to do. Carolyn Bird Barlow is saying food stores for veggie seeds. I agree. My wife and I, over the past year or so, have been buying seeds so we can grow our own garden, which we've been doing. Think about it. Linda Moses says flights are still having trouble. 3 planes, 3 flights to get my daughter family back home. What happened this past week? Microsoft's problems went all over the world. Microsoft had IT problems that affected the entire world. Banking, airline flights, and other things also went down. They canceled flights all over the world. Over 5,000 flights here in the United States didn't take off. Over 5,000 flights didn't take off. And even more than that, stayed in the air until it became necessary to land those planes. There was a complete, total ground stop in flights. All because supposedly Microsoft had a problem, and one other cybersecurity company had a problem. I believe that was predetermined to check and see how things would work. That's what happened before the C thing went down in 2019, 2020. That's exactly what happened. It's happening again. It's happening again. For your safety and your well-being, it is incumbent upon you and in your hands. For your safety and well-being, your life is incumbent upon what you're going to do in your own hands. Nobody can or will be coming to spare you. Only you and you alone are going to be responsible and accountable for your safety and your family's safety and well-being. Plain and simple. We need to get serious, guys. We need to get serious. This woman that's going to be running for president now is worse than Biden. Okay? Don Patoka again here in the chat says, ponder well the possible good, bad, and ugly events and prevail in life's adventure. You need to adapt, prevail, and thrive, and be proactively prepared physically, mentally, and spiritually. Sweet Polly Purebred says it's buffering in her way. So far it's not buffering here, and I'm glad about that. But folks, you can scoff at the truth. People can scoff at the truth. They've done that this past week with President Trump and the RNC. They scoffed at the truth when it's perceived to violate their own convenience or disrupt the status quo. Ask Heavenly Father. Get on your knees and ask for the guidance of the still small voice to discern the truth in the management of situational experiences. Watch what you're doing. Be very concerned about your well-being. Be very concerned about your well-being, because I'm promising everything's going to go down. It's going to go down all at once. The Democrat Party has been planning this for a very, very long time. They've been planning this for a very, very long time. I've seen it happening. I've seen this coming. Back in 1999, I was a police officer in San Diego. Because of my knowledge of emergency preparedness and being my department's emergency manager, I was asked to talk about Y2K at community events and church events. Many churches asked me to come speak. Many churches, many community events all over San Diego County asked for me to speak. Why? Because I was prepared. I talked to people about what they needed to do if the computers went down, what they needed to do if crap hit the fan. Now it's happening. It's happening all over again. Crap hit the fan in 2019, 2020. They locked us down. They started pulling product from shelves so we didn't have certain product, and all of a sudden, nobody had anything. They were determined to take us out. They were determined to take us out. We need to be prepared, brothers and sisters. I'm telling you. Phone was asking 10 days of darkness. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. Now, I could get off on the spiritual note, but I've already taught Sunday school today. We could have 10 days of darkness. Things could happen again, and they might. Are you prepared to handle what happens? Are you prepared to run for the hills, as many people might do, when it all goes to crap? What's going to be left in the hills? What's going to be left in them there hills? Chaos and mayhem. Oh yeah, I can see it. I can see it happening. We need to prepare. We need to get down on our knees and be not just physically and mentally prepared, we need to be spiritually prepared again. Okay? Albert Rodriguez says he's starting to get religious again. I hope so. I believe in a supreme being, God the Father. I believe he will help us if we will let him. Okay? I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. We need to get prepared. I've been prepared for a very long time. And it's not just one thing, but it's many things. We need to do it. We need to do it. Highway Runner says the same thing happened in Japan with the tsunami. Remember when they had that 9.0 earthquake in Japan? And that major tsunami that killed thousands of people? It could happen here. But what I believe is going to happen will eclipse a tsunami. It will eclipse a tsunami. There are so many things that could happen all at once. And with the presidency right now up at the flip of a coin, and yes, Donald Trump could win, but what I believe is going to happen is Kamala Harris and the Democrat Communist Party are going to screw up with the voting machines, and they've already got these ballot boxes all over the streets in Pennsylvania and other places. They've already got these ballot boxes that are not being watched. They're putting ballots in these ballot boxes, and they just can't wait to turn them in to the registrar of voters. We already know what those ballots are going to say. They let those people in through the southern border so they could get these people in to vote for the Democrats, because the Democrats let them in. They're hoping the Democrats will win. We need to stop it. We need to stop it. But I'm only saying this because all of you need to be concerned. We all need to be concerned. Linda Moses says, keeping your eyes on Christ is the only way we can go through these many trials. I agree. Leo says, Trump will bring peace and help out our country. I agree. If we can get him there. If we can get him there. That's a problem. The Democrat Communist Party does not like him. They don't want him there. He's already had one assassination attempt. There's more on the horizon. I've been told there's more on the horizon. More threats are out there. And I've also been told that the Iranians also are attempting an assassination on him. Isn't that interesting? We have another country trying to take out our presidential candidate because they don't like him. It's too bad. They know what Trump could do. They know that Trump would stop the bad stuff from happening, but the Democrats won't. The Democrats drank the Kool-Aid. The Democrats have been drinking the Kool-Aid. And I'm not talking about Mark Wage's Kool-Aid. I'm not talking about his Kool-Aid. But I am talking about something that could hurt you, hurt me, hurt our children and grandchildren. We need to get very serious about what we're doing, or we're going to be not being here. We need to be very serious, guys. And I can't say that in a strong enough language. Okay? Foams is saying, my partner has funds to help prepare, but selfishness controls his logic. I know what to do, I grew up poor, drank from the hose as a kid. I did too. That's one of the reasons I'm prepared now. Is I grew up in a poor household and I drank out of the hose. I've done a lot. But we need to make sure we're prepared. We need to make sure we are prepared and prepared strongly. Okay? I can't say that strongly enough. We need to be prepared and be prepared strongly. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about what I've been saying? Again, Biden has dropped out of the presidential race and he is endorsing Kamala Harris. That is probably a bad thing. No, not probably, that is a bad thing. We can't have her as president of the United States. We need to elect Donald Trump. Number two, we need to be prepared for anything. We need to be prepared for anything, because anything could happen. Okay? Now, a couple last things. Fear doesn't stop death. Don Patoka in the chat says, fear does not stop death. It stops life. Worrying does not take away tomorrow's troubles. It takes away today's peace. We need to be aware. We need to research everything going on. We need to vet everything we see. Everything that comes in front of us, we need to vet and verify. Proactive prior preparation prevents poor performance. We need to be prepared. Relying on the federal government or the cavalry is not going to do it. When a major adversary strikes, the federal government is not going to lift a hand to help us. It would be very risky relying on the government, relying on the federal cavalry. They're not going to be there. The government is going to be reactive, not proactive. We've seen this many years now, 20, 30 years now. They are not proactive, they are reactive. They don't have enough supplies either. Typically responding 72 hours or more. They've already told us to have 72-hour kits. However, they're also saying now we need to be prepared for more than 2 months. They won't be able to help us. The federal government, FEMA, will not be there to help us. Albert Rodriguez says, if you're scared of your current government, he doesn't go on, but I will. If you're scared of your current government, you should be. If you're scared of your current government, you should be. Okay? Darla says, just because he endorsed her does not mean she'll get it. I agree. But knowing what the Democrat Communist Party has done during the prior election and the election before that, I don't trust the Democrats. I don't trust the election process. I just don't. And neither should you. We need to do everything we can, one, to vote, make sure we have our friends and neighbors that are like-minded to vote as well. We need to get as many votes for President Trump as we possibly can. And I'm not saying to cheat. I don't want to see any cheaters among us at all. Ever. Not now, not ever. Not now, not ever, guys. Does anybody have any other questions? Holmes is saying she's a total nut. I mean, the laugh is felonious. I agree. I totally agree. AI says I will never vote for a dictator. Either will I. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Anyway, guys, like I said, Biden has dropped out of the race. He's endorsed Kamala Harris. We need to be prepared for whatever happens. Trump has had more threats against his life. Iran has also threatened him. He's out on the campaign trail with his vice presidential candidate, J.D. Vance, a great man. I hope you're prepared. Folks, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me. As soon as I get off the air, within 10 minutes, I'll have our program description directly beneath this video. In our top of our program description, you're going to see our email address. You're going to see a way to join us as membership of our EMA family here on YouTube. You're also going to see our post office box. Post office box is 104 North Green Street, box 105, Morganton, North Carolina. Zip code is 28655. You're also going to see 2 PayPal locations where you can send donations to us. You can also send donations to us through our P.O. box. People do it all the time, sending us cards and letters with a donation wrapped in the middle. We appreciate that very much. Donna and Gregory just sent us a donation to our PayPal, and we appreciate it so much. It takes money to keep this program on the air. I've been on the air 5.5 years, and I found out after a very short time it takes money with a good broadband signal that costs a great deal of money to keep this program on the air. We appreciate all of you helping support us. So please, folks, number one, give us a thumbs up. Thumbs up makes YouTube stand up and take notice of us. The more time you watch our program, YouTube looks at that as well as part of one of the analytics. The more time you watch this program, the better. If you stay here for 10 minutes, you're not going to get the full benefit of our program, are you? Because you're not going to get all the information we have for you. Stay here for the full program. Stay here for the full program. The length of time, the number of people watching our program, and the number of thumbs up. Remember that. Remember that. Folks, I come on the air because I care about you. I care about your families, and I care about you. I want only the best for you. I want only the best for you. I ask the Lord to bless you. It's Sunday. If you haven't already seen my Sunday school class, go back and watch it, please. Okay? I talked about faith in Jesus Christ. Go back and watch it. It's worth watching. I care about you. I love you. I want to thank you for being here. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me those questions. My email address will be down in the top of the program description, like I said. Be there. Be there. Help support this program as well. Help support this program as well. I love and care about each one of you. I ask the Lord to bless you. God be with you until we meet again. If anything else happens today, we'll be back on the air to talk to you about it as soon as the information becomes available. And yes, there was a 6.4 earthquake in Guatemala today. We'll have more information about that as soon as we get it. God be with you until we meet again. We will see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love. Thank you, Hurricane Heather. Appreciate you.